Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to recap our previous webinar that we conducted this year. So this year we did a webinar on AI and video analytics in construction projects. So those who are from the construction industry, we did a very wonderful webinar on how AI and video analytics can work in construction projects. So we did on some of the case studies, remote inspection of stores. So you may have multiple stores or multiple warehouses. So how do you manage it centrally? Basically, we spoke about how do you integrate all those your stores in central command center. And we spoke about Industry 4.0, computer vision and analytics. We also spoke about centralized security operations. So it's a big challenge, We have again huge security forces, how the entire feed can be centralized. So we spoke about how you do that, how do you achieve that, centralized security operations. And we also spoke about safety and security through AI for smarter security management. So smarter security management is something quite interesting, and this is something every professional from the security field must know. So we spoke about this in June this year. This is again a very important topic. We discussed about how your existing camera can enhance your fire safety. Where it can, to a certain extent, can detect the smoke or the fire. So, improving your fire safety with computer vision. We spoke about the subject in 13 July, followed by redefining the surveillance AI vigilance. So this we did in September 2nd. And today we are speaking about managing critical assets. It's a series of webinar that will come. Today we are going to talk about electrical substations, electrical ads. So we will have a few more webinar on managing critical assets. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am truly delighted to welcome you to today's webinars on topic of immense significance, protecting critical services such as electrical distribution ad through video management software. Our goal today is to shed light on how advanced DURANC video management software can be a game changer in safeguarding these essential services. We will explore the ways in which technology is evolving to meet these challenges head on, and how you as a professionals in this field can leverage this solution for enhanced security, improved efficiency, and of course peace of mind. So over the course of this webinar, you will gain valuable insight from our expert speakers and learn about best practices in implementing the video management solution. But a webinar is not just about talking one side. It's about fostering an environment of sharing, learning and interaction. So we encourage today to all of you to actively participate by asking questions and sharing your thoughts throughout this session. So what we are trying to do is, after Mr. Vamshi presented, we will leave this forum open where you can come on live and you can interact with the speakers, both Srini and Vamshi, and you can clarify your doubts. So your inputs is valuable, and we will have a dedicated Q&A session after the address. So let's embark this enlightening journey together as we explore the ways in which the technology and innovation can fortify the backbone of our modern society. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on time. So let's understand briefly about who is this DURANC. So DURANC is India's leading is the only company, I would say the second largest company in video management software. So DURANC vision is to help businesses and organizations maximize the potential of their surveillance camera. To do this, they have built secure, reliable, and cost-effective video platform that provides users with deep intelligence analytic and insight in real time. DURANC was founded in 2015. They gathered a highly talented global team to create a cloud-based platform. DURANC innovative video streaming and storage technology offers clients the ultimate in video surveillance functionality delivered seamlessly from the cloud. DURANC headquartered in Nashville, USA. They have R&D center in Helsinki, Finland. They have development and global support located in Hyderabad in India. So we have two gentlemen. That we have Vamshi and Srini. So Srini, I'm sure quite familiar face now when it comes to VMS and when it comes to DURANC. He has extensive experience, so I do not wish to elaborate the entire bio of this, but Srini is a well-known face in India today. He travels length and breadth of the country and give the case studies and try and see how technology can enhance the operation, I would say operation efficiency through CCTV that you have. Vamshi is a tech man and his experience, vast experience he has, and he's a technical evangelist. So he advocates and helps customer benefit and understand the limitation of the technology innovation in the surveillance industry. So what we are trying to do is here today, using your existing surveillance cameras. Many people keep asking questions is, do we need to replace the camera? Do we need to have one particular brand? It's all multi-brand, whether it is analog camera or IP camera. Still, you can convert entire surveillance system to the most intelligent surveillance system through DURANC software. So let's understand what Mr. Srini would to give opening remarks and followed by Vamshi to talk about today's subject. So over to Srini. I'm going to unshare this screen to you and please go forward.
Thanks, Dominic. Thanks always to get to these very specific, pointed, and very important topics that we elaborate in these webinars. And you identify these topics in a very challenging way, and we address them with our technology and with our conceptual ideas in terms of computer vision and AI. Primarily, the substation safety is a very primary important thing. In the modern kind of a lifestyle, you cannot risk any of the substations, be it the maintenance or the vandalism or theft or anything. All these factors actually impacts everybody around in the society, modern society. So, having said that, it's very critical to have surveillance systems that are proactive in terms of managing, in terms of giving business insights, proactive alerts, to do the preventive maintenance or to do prevention of the risk and mitigating whatever the incidents that could happen. That's the the primary goal of our entire technology. While we are doing these presentations, we would like to understand also from the from the side of technology experts. So we would prefer if participation of those in an interactive way, giving insights to us also. But having said that, the cameras are existing in most of these infrastructure facilities, but are they optimally used for the purpose? Are they giving you the required data points that are critical for you to do the decision making? That's the thing that we are going to address in this presentation. So Vamshi and myself will take up some of those points in the presentation, and then any questions, please raise a hand. At the end of this presentation, we will address those.
Before Vamshi comes in, I also want to welcome Dr. Rajesh Arora, who's joined us here as a participant. Sir, we are grateful, we are honored to have you. And after Mr. Vamshi finishes, so I'll take you on the panel today. Hope you can hear me out. So we will also has a very senior electrical engineer, from Delhi. So the challenge that you see in managing the from the security aspect. So what do you think about it? So we will also have him on board as you can also give a little bit of exposure from his experience. So over to Vamshi sir.
Yep. Yeah, thank you, Dominic. Thank you, sir. So basically, as Mr. Srinivas mentioned in his opening remark, as a technology company, our goal for these webinars is to uh, probably bring more awareness, as I would say, in terms of what is possible, what are the innovations in the technology in the field of video analytics specifically, and how we see them helping different verticals. And today the topic is for the electrical transmission with yards and substations. So from our perspective, where we see the best fit or a match in terms of how video analytics and advanced video management system would help in managing the operations of an electrical substation or a network of substations. So that's the goal from our technology perspective in terms of our understanding of how the technology or our solutions can help the industry. At the same time, as industry experts, we would request the attendees and the participants to inform where you see the fit, where you do not see the fit, where you think more can be done. Because from our understanding, we may think XYZ is possible, but when you look at further to the presentation and the discussions we will have, you may see that it is more suitable to do M and ABC something else. So probably we will take those back from into our development aspect and see that we build the right solutions that are more suitable, are more apt for the industry. That is the entire goal for these webinars, basically from our perspective. So with that, let me probably share my screen. So let me know once it's visible. I hope that is visible now.
Yeah, clear.
So
Yes, Vamshi.
we will take you through a brief presentation. May not spend too much time on it, but we can have a discussion initially with our remarks, and then further to that, your thoughts on how you think solutions like these can help you. So, electrical substations, this is critical that electrical yards and substations are the vital link between the power generation and the end users. They are the ones that make it possible for the electricity to reach our homes, our schools, hospitals, businesses safely and reliably. Without these substations, the power distribution network would be completely inefficient. It will be unsafe also, and it'll be vulnerable to disruptions. If you look at some of the aspects in which are the activities that happen in the substation, from voltage transformation, because the power generation at the time of power that's generated from the plants to reach, it's transmitted at very long distances with high voltages, and then obviously to reduce the energy loss, they are transmitted at high voltages. Then these high voltages are definitely not suitable for consumption by the home users or the business users. So substations play a crucial role in stepping down that voltage levels to make it suitable for local distribution. Also, they act as a distribution hub because where power from multiple sources such as power plants, renewable energy facilities, even other substations is consolidated and then distributed to the end users. So they are typically located strategically to ensure that electricity can be delivered to the consumers with minimal energy loss in a reliable manner. Then you have voltage regulation. Nowadays, we have smart grid capabilities also, wherein modern substations are at the heart of uh, transition to the smart grids. They're equipped with advanced monitoring and control systems, be it SCADA, etc., allowing for real-time data collection, remote control, and implementation of technologies such as video management systems and video analytics for enhanced safety and operations. So with that, the reason why I'm stressing on these aspects is that understanding the importance of these facilities or the substations is crucial so that we can appreciate the significance of ensuring safety, security, and efficiency of operations within these systems. So that's the major background in terms of understanding why it is important focus on the safety and security and efficient operations of these substations and yards. When we look at safety and security, the first thing that comes to mind is definitely the CCTV. So you typically will have cameras set up at the substations, maybe. Some of them may have, some of them may not. They may be in progress. But however, no matter what, typically they work in silo. So each location or a substation would have its own equipment, its own set of cameras, its own set of recording and storage within the location typically. But when you have a distributed network, you will have multiple locations. They would be geographically spread out. You will have a mix of possibly different types of cameras, IP cameras, analog cameras, many different makes and models, etc. So, and controlling the user access obviously becomes a bit more challenging in such a scenario. Ensuring security, privacy, and confidentiality of this data, the video data, the recordings, etc., becomes a bit more challenging. So overall, how the CCTV is currently used is in terms of a diagnostic and evidence management purposes. There is some incident that happens, so you try to go back to that location's recordings, figure out what actually happened, what is the cause, and address that. So it's more of evidence management is how the CCTV is typically used. So evidence management is fine, but can we use the existing surveillance systems, the same set of CCTV cameras, to help us address our present day challenges? So with advances in the surveillance technologies using computer vision and neural networks, it is possible to use the camera feeds and process them to do much more than just keeping an eye or recording the data. So they can help in many aspects of managing the substations through intelligent analytics. So let's look at some of the challenges faced and how an advanced video management system can come to the aid of management.
At one point there.
Yep.
So if you look at the design and implementation of the substations, CCTV cameras is just an add-on thing. It's never been a very critical in terms of design aspect, where the field of view of the cameras and how you place those cameras and what is that very critical equipment that you want to look through. All these things are not taken into consideration. Most of the time, these are just put up as a add-on, and then 10 cameras or 20 cameras are just as a number you add, and you are not covering the entire critical establishment end to end, where you need to get that field of view for the evidence or field of view for the additional processing. So that design need to be included at the time of construction of the substation, or afterwards, if the old substations are already there, it needs to be revisited to rework out and then reposition those cameras for the better view and field of view.
Yeah, definitely. So existing cameras can definitely be reused. It's not that the cameras will need to be changed or replaced. We can make use of the same cameras, but the positioning may need to be adjusted depending on what all we want to achieve using the video analytics that we want to deploy. So that's basically the intent that in terms of readjusting the camera field of view. Definitely, yes. So in terms of some of the challenges, if we look at, maintaining a network of electrical substations, it's a complex and challenging task due to various operational, safety, security concerns. Well, some of the challenges are listed here. You are probably more aware of them than we are, in terms of whatever safety hazards that you have with high voltage electrical equipment, that the risk that it poses to the personnel, the fire hazards that are possible with electric arcs, etc., the security concerns in terms of unauthorized people entering, trespassing, theft, or vandalism, ensuring you have operational efficiencies, maintenance of the equipment, for example, because some of these equipment is getting older and then it needs regular maintenance, for example. So you'll need to have regular inspections, and that poses its own challenge because these locations may be remote. Many places there could be remote locations, making access for this maintenance and monitoring also becomes bit more challenging. Data management is an issue because of the, again, remote locations, possibility of connectivity, what type of network connectivity is available on these locations or not, whether you have reliable network connectivity or not. Regulatory compliance is another aspect to ensure you follow the regulations, whether it is with respect to the spillage needs, whether it's respect to the storage requirements, etc. So these are are some more challenges in managing these substations. A few more to address are consider are the integration of new technologies. Now with the IoT coming into picture, sensors coming into picture, predictive maintenance of the systems is possible through video analytics. Now reliable communications is an issue, as we spoke about, whether you have connectivity with broadband or 4G type of connectivity, how you use to gather the data, and how do you train the personnel to effectively address if there is any incident that happens. What is the operating procedure which is common across for everybody or for every location. Last but not least is the cyber security risks that today's environment is posing everybody and every industry, because typically when you have equipment connected, especially with respect to the surveillance, there would be an NVR or a DVR that is placed at the location, and when you want to access the feed, you typically access it through a public IP or a port forwarding. So when you have port forwarding or public IP, you are exposing that network into the public outside world, which poses its own security challenges. And that's an issue that we definitely need to address in the present day scenario.
That's a good point, Vamshi. The specifically the cyber security issues with the current equipment and the old equipment that's been there in the substations, they get exposed to the ransomware. They get exposed to many other things. Unless you periodically look and then verify whether they are cyber secure, and then those verifications need to be done in a periodic way. Otherwise, these are open systems where once the P2P systems are deployed, those CCTV systems get exposed very, very easily to the outside world. I think those need to be taken into a real serious effort in terms of making sure that they are protected.
Yes, definitely that needs to be considered in any deployment of an advanced video management system to ensure your network is not exposed to the outside world. So when we look at these challenges, effectively addressing them in maintaining the network of the substations is crucial for ensuring safe, reliable, and efficient distribution of power for all of us. So it often requires a combination of things, combination of deploying advanced technology, combination of skilled personnel, and proactive management practices as well. So all of them will need to work in tandem to ensure we address all these challenges and provide a smooth and seamless operations. When we speak of addressing the challenges, the first step, as we believe, is typically in terms of establishing a centralized or a remote monitoring possibility for all your substations. So we take it as a first step in the progress. So once you set up the central or remote monitoring, it gives you the ability to oversee all your locations at any given point of time. It gives you remote access no matter where you are, not only from the command control center, but from wherever you are with your smart devices. You will have access whenever you need to all the locations, all the substations. This can greatly help with decision making. It also requires also helps you in terms of defining the standard operating procedures in case of any incidents are detected at any location. Automatically, it can pop up to a central location when you're monitoring it and dispatch the right response teams to each location. It helps you in terms of scalability. It's easy to add further cameras or further locations when you have already infrastructure in place which can help you with the centralized management or centralized monitoring of the substations. It also helps you with efficiency, because then you will have a set of people who are well trained and probably periodically retrained also in terms of identifying threats, identifying and responding to these threats appropriately. It gives you cost effectiveness because of the scalability that it provides you. So you can have better coordination across all your centers, all your locations. You will know whether the infrastructure, all the cameras are in working condition or not, because the device health status is also monitored by the VMS system. So it gives you better accountability and oversight overall. So the first step in terms of connecting with the proper VMS system, all your substations, is for the centralized monitoring. So for that, what we need is the technology that enables you, which considers all the aspects, all the challenges that we spoke about, including the cyber security, including the ability to connect to various makes and models of cameras, be it IP cameras, analog cameras, whatever type of a network you may have. Some locations may have a connectivity, internet connectivity with broadband. Some locations may not have. They may be on a 4G type of a network. So whether the solution allows you to connect from any type of a network, any type of a camera. Like, for example, you may have, when you're doing remote inspections, you could still use some of the body worn or helmet mount type of cameras to be able to conduct remote inspections as well. When personnel go, experts go there, they can monitor remotely sitting from the central office. So the ability to connect any type of camera, take the video feed even from a drone, for example, we have certain use cases around that, wherein a drone feed is obtained and that is analyzed through video analytics to detect issues with the transmission lines, etc. So any type of a video feed can come in to the central portal, the central infrastructure, the video management system, which can do a recording, provide offsite storage, because in case of any incident that happens, a fire accident or a theft that happens at a substation, you will lose all the recordings if it is only stored in the local NVR and the DVR. So you have the possibility to provide cloud storage or the centralized storage for some period of time, depending on how much ever data that you need. Maybe some locations for a few days, last 3 days of data, or maybe last 7 days of data, etc. So you have that flexibility to have offsite storage for these recordings as well. So the ability to connect any maker model of camera from any number of locations, at the same time providing or controlling the user access to ensure that only authorized users will have access to their authorized locations. So a regional head will have access to only his regional substations or cameras. The central office would have access to all of those cameras, etc. And also, when incidents are triggered through video analytics, when all these videos from all across locations are processed, it triggers events for specified types of events. When alarms are triggered, these alarms can be notified to specified people. Depending on the location, the regional, etc., you can define who needs to be notified for what type of an incident, and so that they will take appropriate action. So you can watch in the command center, or it could be watched from any location, from anywhere, using a smartphone through a simplistic browser interface. That is what enables as a first step in terms of connecting all the cameras and then applying video analytics on top of that. So let's review some of the ways in which artificial intelligence-based analytics help in substation monitoring. So we have understood how the cameras can be brought into the same platform. Then we apply video analytics on them because the analytics do not depend on any type of the camera. As we spoke in earlier, any camera feed can be obtained and that can be analyzed. We don't need specialized functionality or features of the camera. From any camera feed, we take the live feed from camera, analyze that, and provide you the alarms or events reports. So one such example is a proximity alarm, for example. So we all know that just knowing that electrical conductor, what it looks like, will not keep us safe in a substation because of the high voltages that are involved. We don't need to touch the electrical conductor to be harmed. If we get close enough, the electricity will reach out and touch us in the form of high temperature, electrical arc. So the potential for an electrical arc becomes greater as the voltage increases. So for this reason, the safety distances that one must observe for electrical conductors increases with the voltage, and there are proper distances that are defined depending on the type of substation. The clearance from overhead bus is calculated based on for each type of a substation. So the proximity, whether people are maintaining that distance or not. And some of the standard operating procedures, such as not climbing on top or not carrying the tools above the shoulder, etc. So these can be looked at or analyzed through the video analytics, and then appropriate alarms can be triggered. For example, when an proximity event is triggered, if somebody is going beyond, let's say, for example, for a 340 kV substation, the safe distance is considered as 18 feet. If somebody goes less than that 18 feet, then you can get hooter sounded automatically there at the location through a relay integration. That's also possible. Another aspect of it is in terms of temperature audits. Auditing the power equipment temperature is an effective way to prevent accidents as electrical substations and power grids. So normally this task is typically carried out by a qualified technician using a portable thermal vision camera to measure the temperature, to measure the IR emission intensity of the equipment and determine the heat rate. So to prevent these accidents, this temperature audit is typically conducted on a regular basis. Combining a thermal vision camera, the video analytics can perform these automated auditing of substation facilities, power equipment temperatures. So use thermal camera to get the feed and analyze the feed, enable timely intervention through the alarms that are triggered, and prevent accidents at electrical substations and power grids. Another one that we briefly touched upon is the arc flashes. The video analytics can continuously monitor for anomalies in the electrical equipment, the environmental conditions such as sudden spikes in temperature or irregular electrical discharges, etc., which are indicative of an impending arc flash. When these anomalies are detected, the system can trigger immediate alerts, allowing the operators to respond swiftly by isolating the affected equipment. You could de-energizing the circuit or activate fire suppression systems. These actions can be taken immediately in an automated way also through the relay integrations. When the event is detected, event is sent out to the relay device, which can take up these actions of de-energizing the circuit or activating the fire suppression through the relay integration. So this proactive approach helps preventing the arc flashes from escalating into a major fire, reducing the risk of damage to equipment, injuries, and potential downtime. One more aspect of it is the animal hazards, which are well known. Typically, mice, rats, birds, dogs, etc., cattle, etc., pose threats to the substation operations. Actually, in fact, it was noted in one of the studies that birds cause up to 25% of the power outages at utility substations, from nesting to arc flashes to fire hazards. Nesting birds attract predators, typically raccoons, cats, and snakes, etc., which often cause outages because they climb through the station looking for these bird nests. The accumulation of bird droppings can be corrosive to materials and equipment, causing damage to the equipment. These also can be addressed through the video analytics. There are also other solutions like bioacoustic scaring systems that produce a warning call which mimic natural predator kind of a sound to scare away the birds. There are also acoustic devices with ultrasonic acoustic devices that work on the thresholds of human auditory thresholds to disperse trespassers. So the multiple levels of acoustic devices are available, which can be integrated through the video analytics system, then to automatically create those acoustic scaring alarms or waves to disperse whether it is birds or trespassers, etc. So these can be automatically triggered through integration to the VMS platform.
So these are some of the very important custom developments that can be done for the video analytics. A lot of times, some of these can be new requirements are very specific related to the functionality of yours. Those also can be customized and developed for the purpose of your customized requirement. Generalized analytics from the computer vision are developed for the purpose of direct usage. But in case if there is any very specific concern that has been there for some time, and that's for you as a customer or a user to bring it to us, and then we do development on top of it and deploy it for the purpose.
Not only during the operation maintenance, but also operations, but also during construction phase as well. The video analytics will help us in terms of whether it is tracking of the progress of the construction, ensuring the worker safety, materials movement, what vehicles are coming, going, safe tracking of the equipment, and personnel during construction phase. During the maintenance phase also, automatically anomaly detection is possible, like you see on the right side portion. With the, as I was mentioning, the drone feed can be obtained for the distribution or transmission lines that can be analyzed automatically to check for equipment status, to check for corrosion levels, missing nuts or bolts, etc. Depending on what needs to be done, the system can be trained to detect the video analytics, can be trained through machine learning to detect such anomalies and help us in better maintaining the equipment. Here are some more use cases which are typical in nature, which are usually applied across, not only for substations, but across other verticals as well, in terms of ensuring detection, early detection of trespassers, ensuring that thefts are prevented with trespassers, crowding detection at the substations, automatic vehicle tracking through the number plate detection system. Any vehicle that enters or comes in the proximity of the substation can be tracked automatically to ensure you have a safety and security maintained of all your premises. So these are some more use cases that can be obtained through the use of video management system. Last but not least is the usage of robots as well. This is something that's there in the Western world, but not yet in India. So there are multiple use cases for usage of robots, starting from perimeter protection. They can monitor all the perimeter. You can define the area, the route. It can go across with the camera mounted, obviously, along with, there are use cases where the UV camera is mounted on top of it for detecting the corona discharges. So there are multiple types of variants of these robots, which can actually help ensure the safety, security, and also operational aspects of the entire substation. It can do perimeter protection for large perimeters, especially, for example, in a solar plants. It can go over all across, and it can also detect. And then using the acoustic UV, as well as the acoustic audio that we spoke about, it can distract or disperse the birds that come with those acoustic signals. So there are multiple use cases that are coming up that are used in the Western world, but slowly probably will start in India as well.
The introduction of these different devices, like the drones, these robotic vehicles that travel around your internal premises, all these are mounted with different kind of equipment. Like Vamshi said, it could be acoustic devices, it could be cameras. But the important factor is, how do we integrate all these things for a specific purpose of your requirement? That's our core functionality in terms of integrating all these things and making sure that very specific requirement of yours is addressed. Large premises, these not just the drones, but these vehicles are very important. Like Vamshi said, those were not available as of now. As of before, but now they are becoming available, including IoT devices, including thermal cameras mounted on these vehicles. Those will give you the entire information to your central command control and also to your field officers on a simultaneous basis, so that you can take those into consideration of decision making or into preventive maintenance or whatever the next steps on the standard operating procedures you would like to have.
So with all of it, what we are trying to achieve is finally moving away from the eyeball monitoring. There is no need, because obviously when you have multiple locations, so many cameras connected, it's not humanly possible also to keep on monitoring through eyeball monitoring. So we move from the eyeball monitoring to event-based monitoring. Any event that gets triggered across any of the locations, any of the places, you get an alert. The event gets triggered, alert pops up on the screen in the central command control center. The agent or the person who is looking after the events, he will immediately notified. He can take appropriate action on it. If required, he can escalate it to the next level, gets into a flagged event. Then this event can be tracked to a proper closure by taking the appropriate actions, informing the local fire station, for example, or whatever is the action defined by the standard operating procedure. That can be applied by the user who is monitoring it immediately. So timely response can be taken to prevent major issues or hazards from happening. And these events can be tracked to closure. They can be analyzed. They help in risk assessment. It helps in trend analysis of what kind of events or incidents are happening more typically at what kind of locations these incidents are happening, so that you can even further improve the operating procedures that you apply for those locations. So it helps in terms of tracking of incidents to closure, as well as understanding the trend of the incidents that are happening. From any technology, end of the day, that we implement, the goal is for the end user to be able to use that system effectively, then be happy using the system. Without that, there is no point in having the advanced latest technologies if nobody understands it how to use. So whatever the VMS system typically that you want to implement should be pretty easy, not much of technical knowledge required for the users from a usage perspective. You should provide a simple interface, ideally nothing to install. For the user, it's a browser based, all the better, because these days, even on the smartphones, you can open a browser and open and access the events. You have security to ensure that all the data, all the communications is encrypted end to end. It is important. So the ease of diagnostics and evidence management is also an important aspect for the user. When something happens, how quickly or how easily you can refer to the recordings, you can pull out those recordings to verify or to go through is an important aspect of it. And scheduling of reports, users can schedule the reports automatically to receive periodically, either on a daily basis. Even for camera going down, you will immediately get alerted so that maintenance can be done for the cameras, for example. Providing the flexibility in terms of recordings, in terms of storage, all of it, the user will have complete control over the system, which is pretty easy to use.
Apart from these, you can also have predictive analytics based on the historical data that you have. Those reports will help you in understanding what is the future course of action, and some of the things can be predicted well in advance. So that data which is available in the past historic data can be continuously analyzed and then give you the report output.
And for definitely. And for the enterprise, basically, it protects the existing investment in the CCTV, because in our solution, for example, there is no need to change or replace any cameras. All at best that would be required is repositioning of the cameras, depending on the type of functionality that we would like to achieve. It's completely network and camera agnostic, so we be able to connect from anywhere, any type of a network. You can configure any of the existing analytics on existing cameras, even including analog cameras, for example. So you don't need to have specialized cameras for running analytics. It gives you a centralized platform for incident tracking and management. So you move away from the eyeball monitoring to proactive management. Ability to extend the analytics, because based on all the analytics are based on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So it's possible to train the system to detect newer anomalies, newer type of objects can be detected, and they can be built for specific requirements, specific use cases. They can be deployed along with the system, which help you extend it easily for further types of anomaly detections. Provides also well-defined APIs so that you can integrate it with your existing other systems, whatever systems that you're using, be it SCADA systems or any other systems that you're using. There are well-defined APIs provided by the VMS platform, which enables you to, whatever these events that are triggered can be posted to a third-party system, or the data that is required for a specific period of time. For example, you need the video recordings of a specific location of a specific camera from such and such duration. You can, through an API call, it is possible to retrieve that and take it to the other application. So it makes it easy for integration. These are some of the benefits that an enterprise level you can have. Yeah. With that, I guess we close the presentation and open it for any questions. So we talked about surveillance today, how tomorrow it could be with all the possibilities enabled through AI and the right technology solutions that you have. So I thank you for patiently listening through the session, and let's probably open up for any questions and then discussions. Thank you.
So I would request the participants who are there, probably raise your hand if you want to speak. However, I would like to invite Mr. Rajesh, Dr. Rajesh Arora, who's the superintendent in the Delhi distribution company. So I will call him as one of the panelists here. Uh, Dr. Rajesh Arora ji, are you there? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
So actually, my question is related to the network bandwidth. As you said that about the video surveillance system. Actually, I think it generate a lot of data. So I think it's very important to have a high speed network for support them. So how we can mitigate such kind of risks? Because in the existing substations and old substations, it is very difficult once we are trying to implement all such things in the capex. So how we can make that, so how to upgrade that system, and what are the what kind of the skill manpower are required for such kind of systems, and also about the network bandwidth.
Okay.
I'll pick up the network bandwidth
Yeah,
to
please
start
go
with,
ahead.
and then I know we'll address other points from your query. So network bandwidth depends on the number of cameras, obviously, that you have at the location. So typically for each camera, you can consider about 1 MB upload speed. So what we would require there at the location is the upload speed, not the download. So we would need approximately about 1 Mbps per camera that you have. But there are different deployment models in the system, wherein if it's a large a substation, for example, you have a lot of cameras, just a few handful of cameras, you can do it through, the 1 Mbps per each camera. You could easily get a 4 MB, 5 MB type of upload bandwidth, and you can connect to the central platform. Whereas if you have a lot more cameras, then we work out on a different deployment models. We have a hybrid deployment model where the analytics also can happen at the location itself, and then the metadata of that event only gets posted to the central platform for the analytics metadata, which is basically the timestamp of the event, the image of from the camera where the event triggered. This can be posted to the central platform and then notified to appropriate people. So that way, there are multiple deployment models which address the concern that you raised in terms of the bandwidth, etc.
Rohitji,
Next question is,
just the aspect of bandwidth is almost irrelevant when we have right now a lot of implementations that we're going through because of different types of networks that we access and then work with. Like Vamshi was saying, two things. One is if you have a large implementations that are there with a large number of cameras, a lot of things can be done locally. Even the alerts, even the hooter signs, even the acoustic devices operating or sounding the alarms. All things can be done with the local analytics deployment. And whatever that is happening, that will be communicated to the central command control through the metadata. So you do have that hybrid implementation models, and then we work with you in terms of how and what is exactly is your specific area. Do you have 10 cameras? Do you have 100 cameras? That's basically what we look at, and then give you the guideline, and then finalize the implementation model. And we are pretty
basically,
flexible in that.
yeah, thanks for giving me this precise reply about my question, sir. Actually, I'm asking this because mostly in case of the port, suppose if you take an example of the Kandla port, there's the area where the 66 of the 11 kV substation are there, and there's a little bit of challenges which are usually we are facing with while working with the network connectivities. So even though we are also working with the GIS substation implementation, recently we have just dropped a tender for that. But actually, I think that if such things are going to implement, because this technology, advanced technology, robotics, as you said about, it's not liberal at that time. I think so. I think it's very little bit challenging to at that time to implement such things in these kinds of such kind of areas. I think that's why I just asked this question. Sir.
You said it right. That was in the past, but now a lot of things are changing. I'll just give a small example, Roji. We are also doing streaming from the ambulances with 4G while the patient is being, transported to the ER department, to the hospital. So that explains you there are many ways of doing and then bringing the camera feeds to the central command control and then do the video analytics at the central location. Or if that is not preferred, if the preferred implementation is better to go for the hybrid implementation, we can do it a localized analytics processing and then do the rest of the event management from there. So there is a lot of possibilities in terms of deployment models that need to be worked with you sitting together. This kind of like solution deployment is not just what we give as a box. This solution deployment is what we discuss with you, identify the issues, come up with a solution, come up with a design, and implement it. So that's where the technology plus the customer interaction is very crucial in terms of AI implementation. AI cannot be implemented with a silo mindset. It has to be interactive way, and it has to be a collaborative approach.
Now, we have
Actually,
Dr. Rajesh Arora, but before I, welcome you, sir, the one question from Gurcharan Singh, I will take that question, then I will come to you, sir, because your presence is really making us very enlightened. Gurcharan Singh is asking, we have 1 kilometer long site. How can we install CCTV to control site? So this mail is, this questions from Gurcharan. So 1 kilometer, how do they bring the feed to central station?
It's an excellent question, and it's a practical problem. It's a practical, solution is required. Now the cameras can go up to 2 kilometers. There are border safety cameras, but they come with a cost. I am not saying that they are cheap, right? So apart from that, you can have multiple cameras. Now the cameras are becoming, completely commoditized. So you can have 100 cameras, 200 cameras. Like I said in the before conversation, the field of view is of the camera is very important for us to do any analytics. If you close your eyes, you cannot identify anything. If you switch off the camera, you cannot get any situational awareness. So be it 1 kilometer or 5 kilometers, the deployment model is you can integrate drones, you can integrate robots, you can integrate multiple cameras overlapping, like how you do it in the cellular model, where the cellular towers are overlapping in their approach. The same way, the cameras can be overlapped in terms of field of view to cover more area. And earlier, the cameras used to have like 20 feet by 30 feet, or 20 by 30, or 20 by 10, small field of view areas. But now the cameras have a larger field of view. When you see in the national highways, there is a pole that goes almost 60 feet, 80 feet above. And from there, you are actually putting a PTZ camera. That PTZ camera is zooming across, half a kilometer. So there are possibilities to do that kind of implementation. This is where we insist on having a proper design mechanism to start with. A randomized implementation of CCTV doesn't give you a value of that money that you have invested. You need to have a very pre-defined approach in terms of how you are going to deploy this thing. Thought through earlier days, like how home implementations were there. You put like 4 cameras in the 4 corners. That cannot be the approach for a critical establishment. You need to have a proper design and proper understanding in terms of how you place those cameras. Then only we can do analytics. Without camera, I cannot do anything. My solution is obsolete with no camera, right? Only if I get the feed, I do analysis. So if I don't get proper feed, I don't get do any kind of analysis on top. So that's the reply for 1 kilometer or 5 kilometers.
Thank you. Thank you, Srini. Welcome, Dr. Rajesh Arora ji. Welcome. We have a lot of questions to you as for a person who is responsible in maintaining a substation in across the Delhi. So, what do you think of this technology that we have presented by DURANC, and what do you think is your company would be seriously looking at enhancing these with this kind of technology in that to being capital city of India, Delhi. So, do you think that all the substations are well covered with this cameras? And what do you think about this technology to be useful to you, sir?
First of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you to the three experts, Dominic Saab, Srinivasan ji, and Omsi Krishna ji, who have given very wonderful presentation. And to be very frank, when I was going through your presentation, it forced me to think about the future substation network. And in future, there won't be any Rajesh Oda in the substation, there will be Ro. And after 5 years, 6 years down the line, in my substation, it will be full of drones and robots who will be doing the maintenance on my behalf. Wonderful presentation, mind blowing, to be very frank, very honest, because that is the need of the future, that is the need of the day. And we have to make ourselves prepare for the future technologies we have. We don't use that technology, that will be totally wrong, because when you have technology available with you, you have to use it for the betterment of your system, for the growth of your system, because we are living in an era where it is difficult to afford any kind of outages in the present system. We have become so much comfortable with use of energy, it is difficult to tolerate even a single minute without energy, without electricity. And to maintain uninterrupted supply, you have to keep your assets, your critical equipments in healthy conditions. And to do that thing, the methods available is VMS. Because finally you have to take care of the security and the safety. And when you have to use VMS system, I won't say that is not available. There are many cameras are available in my existing substation also, but these are not being used at the optimal level. Because when you have to implement VMS, that should be appropriate, adequate. Adequate means you have to install adequate number of cameras in your system based on the criticality of the equipment you have, the crucial equipment you have, outlived equipment you have, the lines you have, and that depends on the importance of that equipment in your system to maintain uninterrupted supply. Because there are three important things. One is the social responsibility. You have to maintain that supply uninterrupted. There is regulations that is called forced by your regulator to maintain your supply, maintain the availability of your lines, your substations. But to start with, to implement the technology available, we have to start with the change in my technical specification. When I float any tender for any system, for any substation, for any AIS, for GIS, for transmission line, for augmentation, we must have provisions of VMS system in my specification. When I say specification, everything comes with a cost that has direct impact on the capex of that utility, and that must be approved by concerned regulatory commission because it has direct impact on the tariff. Okay. Now coming to requirement and challenges. Almost all the challenges have already been covered very well in the presentation. What I feel, still, the first challenge is the compatibility of existing camera with the technology, VMS technology you are going to offer. Because it is not possible to discard the already installed camera in my substations. I have to make all these existing systems compatible with the new technology you are bringing in. And important part is we have to bring everything at the central location. In any utility, there are 20, 30, 50 substations in that particular area. and all substations must be monitored at a central location decided by utility management. And I am very impressed when you have shown one slide where that hotspot is being done by your camera, that is thermo scanning. And I'm quite sure if that can be implemented, I can reduce the outages by 70%. Because what happens in 90% cases, the region of outages are these hotspot, these hot temperature, which are not being monitored, captured during the visual inspection by my staff. And when I say safety and security, trespassing, movement of vehicle, the storage, use of your BMS during construction, that plays very vital role. Apart from that, when my person is going for maintenance, to have a look on the activities carrying out during the shutdown in the substation can be monitored by VMS system. And with alarm system, we can instruct the maintenance people, please carry the PP required, kindly maintain the required distance, keep yourself away from the live line, you have to maintain all the clearances required. That is going to be wonderful use of technology so far safety and security and maintenance of on-dam people are concerned. And I'm quite sure when we start using all this technology with proper approval, with proper amendments in the specification we have already, and with the knowledge of top management, we have to make people aware about the importance of this system for security and safety of my complete system, whether it's a AIS, whether it's a GIS, whether it's a transmission line, because we are also carrying out maintenance activity on regular basis on our transmission line. When you are at the ground level and person is on the top of that tower, you can't see what he is doing at the top. But with that technology, you will be getting the complete activity being carried out by staff, that maintenance person at the top of tower during the shutdown. At the same time, the hotspot, thermovision camera, use of this technology will bring my downtime to a great extent very low, and I will be able as a power system person uninterrupted supply and will be able to increase my availability of system that is must as per regulations, and it is going to bring a revolutionary change. Thank you everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Vamshi, comment on Dr. Arvind?
No, thank you, sir, for your comments and feedback and insightful additions to the points that we mentioned. We were not aware that the specific point that you mentioned will reduce your downtime by 70%. So that means that there is definite need to focus more on that aspect of the solution, because each solution will cater obviously to multiple factors, multiple elements will be there in the solution. But which is the one that is most important to address first?
I can tell you the main causes of failure in my system. Arcing, you have mentioned in your slides, hotspot, gas leakage, oil leakage, sometimes mistakes by working staff. But by doing the proper monitoring, if you can avoid all these things that I mentioned, definitely the outages will be reduced by 70%. There is no doubt about it. And avoiding 70% outages means your availability index will rise. You will be able to maintain uninterrupted supply, and you will get even incentive as a utility.
Great. Yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir, for the all the inputs. It's always pleasure having long discussions with you, and it gives us a lot of inputs and then ideas to take it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this gives us an opportunity to address all the transmission towers and distribution yards in the country where Durand can be one of the the solution to these company. So your inputs also help us to develop certain features that we may not have. We continue this question answer. We have Ramakant, though it is not related to transmission, but he's asking. Ramakant has been our regular participant and he's been helping us to reach out to more security community from his group. So he's asking how video analytics can be used for monitoring the lathe machine where pressed activity are going with temperature of 900 degree centigrade.
See, Vamshi, you want to take it or
Yeah,
should I
we'll
continue?
probably need to understand a little bit more in terms
Yeah.
of the use case of what is required to be measured there, whether it is measuring of the temperature, whether it is measuring what actually needs to be done. Probably we will get in touch with him offline to understand the actual requirement and definitely take that forward.
Okay, both Ramakant, I will share your mail ID. I think Vamshi or Srini will get back to you and understand more and give you. So Sunil Kumar is asking whether video analytics will carry out the system automatically of all events and alert the operator.
Yes. So video analytics once deployed, that is the purpose of automating through video analytics through artificial intelligence. So whatever we are detecting through the use of human eye and human brain is what we are trying to replace and train the system to detect what a human being typically would be required to detect. So once the video analytic is trained and deployed, there is no need for any human intervention. The alerts will be triggered automatically. The processing will happen on the live video feed. The alerts will get triggered and the command control center will receive that alert. Then the further action can be taken by the person who is in charge of monitoring there.
Sir, Sivakumar is asking, Sivakumar Natran, can you provide a demo of this? I think talking about POC, sir. I think we will write to you, Sivakumar, separately. I think you're from South India, so we will definitely, Vamshi has carried out many demos and POCs. So we will once you understand the requirement, the application, they will come back to you on this. And just a curiosity is asking whether have we done any installation in substation in any part of South India? Do we have any installation?
No, it's very early stages, so I cannot really name any specific as one customer. But there are a few projects that are currently in the initial stages that we have, but I won't be able to name at the moment.
Okay. So, with this, not much questions, Vamshi. We have done almost 1 hour 15 minutes. We had a very decent, registrations, and some of them has sent a message that unfortunate, weekend, the rush. Need to close the office quite, office early. So most of them are asking about the video recording of this whole webinar. I'm sure we will continue to, we'll definitely share the entire recording. Also, we will come out with the next critical protection of critical services. We'll come back to you and we'll again, understand from you and also improve the requirement in the VMS as we go through it. So I think we lost Srini in this line. Any concluding remarks, Vamshi?
I guess thank you very much, Dominic, for organizing these sessions. These are, I hope these are informative to the participants, and it's a learning experience for us as well because we focus more on the technology, but then these kind of webinars also force us to look at individual industry from a different set of eyes, different set of thought process in terms of how this solution could be used for that specific vertical and come out with the solutions. So interacting with the industry experts in this manner helps us make our products better. So thank you for giving us this opportunity as well to be part of these sessions.
Before we conclude, Vamshi, the Haridas Thackeray is putting up a question from Maharashtra. The substation in Maharashtra, there is a various substation which adds, there is a tiger is roaming around in the switch yard due to nearby forest, and is sited in a city called a place called Chandrapur. But forest employee does not manage the situation. They don't know how to manage. As it's purely non-electrical question, but exact solve the problem. Can you know video monitoring can help us to avoid this. So hope you get
Definitely,
this
yes. This
question.
is a definite use case for video analytics because the video analytics can detect the presence of animals. We can detect specifically tigers if you are interested in, not the cattle. We can do a further customization and train the system to detect the presence of only a tiger. So if any tiger is spotted, whatever the action that you need to take, that can be taken, like maybe sounding a hooter alarm automatically, so that gets alerted and that will run away. For example, as a simple use case that can definitely be implemented right away, and I guess that would help your specific problem of dispersing the tigers there. So if it's spotted, immediately we can sound a hooter alarm through the system itself without any manual intervention.
Haridas will come back to you. I think Vamshi will get in touch with you
Yep.
to know more and more, and I'm sure they have a solution to your problem that is there. Srini, concluding remarks on this webinar?
Thanks, Dominic. It's always a pleasure having these conversations. And today's is very well, it's an excellent experience in terms of getting inputs from the experts like Rajesh ji and Rohit and others. So we look forward to have these interactions if you have any specific requirements. The requirements like the spotting of the animals, spotting of specific animals also can be done, not just one tiger or anything. Specific animal can be identified and also be reported back, whether dogs or cats or cattle or forest animals. So there are quite number of opportunities in video analytics. That's where we can start, and for that, it's always an important factor to consolidate these cameras to one single platform, and then bringing them into one single command control. After that, post to that, you can have umpteen number of specific requirements that can be addressed. So having said that, thank you everyone. Thank you all for participating and giving us insights.
Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Vamshi, for wonderful presentation and the discussion that we had. We look forward to see you all again. And on behalf of DURANC, I want to thank all the participants who joined in. And we'll soon come out with the next topic on the protection of critical assets. So we'll come and announce that maybe the end of November. We'll come back to you. Thank you very much. Till then, stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Bye bye.